I think what sums this up, if you take a look at U.S. District Judge Stanford Duvall, you take a look at what he said about about the Army Corps of Engineers. You go, my God. I mean, these are the people making decisions for our safety.
Yes. Give
us the 10,000-foot story of how bad the Army Corps of Engineers have screwed up here.
Well, Judge Duvall was the federal judge who ruled in the only case involving victims of the flooding to ever come to trial in New Orleans, that ever will come to trial. And his 150-page opinion is a blistering indictment.
Full disclosure here, my law firm was involved with that trial. We tried the case on behalf of the victims too.
Were you in Bruno? Is that Bruno's firm?
No, this is Mike Papantonio with Levin Papantonio.
Oh, great. It's an amazing opinion. He and his law clerk did an amazing job of wrestling all these very technical issues to the ground and understanding them. But the 10,000-foot view is the Army Corps of Engineers, over a period of 4.5 decades under administrations of both political parties, under instructions by Congress to build a system that would protect New Orleans from the maximum probable hurricane, made a series of mistakes ranging from conceptual errors to basic engineering, second-year engineering school mistakes, to refusals to take new information into account that resulted in a system so fragile that it collapsed under conditions much less harsh than those it was supposed to withstand.
I mean, some of the language, he said, this is a judge that listened to the case. He heard the best that the Army Corps of Engineers could offer. And he said that the Corps' lassitude and failure to fulfill its duty, these are his words, to take their duty seriously resulted in catastrophic loss of human life and unprecedented proportions. That's what the judge that heard this case. And then you had experts that wanted to testify, that wanted to say, look, I can testify to how bad this was. They were fired from their jobs, taken off of the job that they'd had for years because they wanted to tell the truth about the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you're talking about Dr. Ivor Van Heerden,
right,
who at the time was the deputy director and the founder of the LSU Hurricane Center. LSU did fire him shortly afterwards, and just a couple weeks ago, the American Association of University Professors, which is the nation's leading organization that monitors universities in terms of academic freedom, concluded a 2-year investigation into his case and said LSU did fire him in retaliation for speaking out about the Corps of Engineers, and that had violated his academic freedom as a result, which is a damning thing for a major university which has aspirations to national prominence in any field other than football.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
So here you had the defense was, I mean, this is incredible. People don't understand. The defense was not that we could have done better. I mean, the defense was that we're immune. Yeah, we're stupid. Yeah, we screwed up. Yeah, people died. Yes, we violated just basic engineering concepts that we should have known about. Yes, we did all those things. Yes, we flooded the Ninth Ward, and yes, the Ninth Ward wouldn't have been destroyed but for our stupidity. But you know what? We have an immunity shield. You can't do anything to us because we're immune from you doing anything to us. I mean, if you drill down, Harry, that was really their defense, wasn't it?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, it's why every other case involving this flooding was thrown out by the same judge, because he said, yeah, under those circumstances, you are immune. It just so happened that in this particular case, because the waterway or the structure in question was built as a navigation project and not as a flood control project, in that specific instance, the Corps was not immune, and that's why there was a moment of justice in this case.
Well, we're used to seeing you in your actor role. That's how we know, Harry. Mm-hmm. But you've been down there helping rebuild. You've been very involved with this. You've made this incredibly important documentary, The Big Uneasy. The national media, though, is like they're brain dead on how important this story is. This is not just about a hurricane. This is about a governmental agency that's making decisions every day that can be life or death decisions that, by the way, I want to point out, there hasn't been any shake-up here.
Oh, God, no.
They're the same dummies that were there yesterday. They're still there today. This administration has made no attempt to do anything. You would think that you'd have this administration, people like Axelrod saying, "My God, look at how bad this case is. Let me just read the judge's opinion, and you can see what a bunch of nincompoops caused this problem. It wasn't just the hurricane, but nothing's changed."
Well, and not only that. I mean, the film discusses the cause of the flood in 2005, but we also have a whistleblower in the film working for the Corps of Engineers who is working on the post-2005 project, on which you and I, federal taxpayers, have already spent $8 billion so far, the new improved project.
Mm-hmm.
She was responsible for supervising the testing and installation of the pumps, the hydraulic pumps at the heart of that project. She says they never passed their tests, even when testing standards were repeatedly lowered. They were installed by the Corps of Engineers anyway. They have design defects. They will not work during a hurricane.
They have temporary pumps going around. I mean,
those are the temporary pumps.
Yeah, the temporary pumps are there. Temporary.
Which, by the way, they were not supposed to be temporary. In their original filing, the Corps said it had a 50-year lifespan until they started finding this information from the whistleblower, and then they suddenly backtracked and said, "Oh, no, they have a lifespan of 5 to 7 years." So now, that's bad enough. This year, the Corps puts out a contract for the new, quote, permanent pumps. The GAO, Government Accountability Office in Congress, has just rejected that contract, invalidated it on the grounds that the Corps contracted with a former employee of the Corps in a crony-like fashion,
mm-hmm.
and that the Corps officials reviewing the bid spent less than 5 minutes reviewing the technical viability of the bid.
Right.
Less than 5 minutes. People got upset when the OJ jury spent an hour. The Corps of Engineers spent less than 5 minutes evaluating pumps that will or will not endanger people's lives.
Yeah, it's a BP story. I mean, it really is a BP story. It's another governmental agency that's become so useless. I mean, so useless. They either are tied into industry for some reason, or they just perpetuate themselves with, nepotism. It's a process that this is an agency that is completely dysfunctional.
Yeah.
I got to tell you something. That Dr. B, who of course is a hero in this whole thing.
Yep.
He's somebody who said, "Look, is Robert B. He said, let me tell the truth about all this. Let me go to trial and tell the truth. Let me talk to the public and tell the truth." And it's really interesting. The American Society of Engineers basically told him, don't tell the public the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them know about what really happened. Participate in a cover-up is what they told Robert B.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's basically it.
Yeah.
And so the cover-up has to take place. Why? Why do you have to cover it up?
Well, in the case of LSU and Dr. Van Heerden, what the AAUP found was that the university was craving some of the millions of dollars that the Corps of Engineers doles out for contractors and consultants, and they didn't want to endanger their chance of getting the money. In the case of the American Society of Civil Engineers, Dr. B's partner at UC Berkeley, Dr. Ray Seed, wrote another blistering document, a 17-page letter to the ASCE, alleging, and I don't think it's been rebutted on the public record, this is in my film, that the ASCE got paid $2 million to be involved in the Corps' own self-serving investigation of the disaster.
Yeah, that's the American Society of Civil Engineers.
That's correct.
These are the people who are supposed to be speaking for whether or not our engineers are doing things right. I mean,
yeah, it's the voice of the profession, it's a profession. It's not a job. It has ethics and rules of how you comport yourselves comparable to doctors and lawyers. Now, that's a bad comparison.
What you've done, Harry, what you've done really well on this, and I handle, our firm handles the biggest cases in this country. We're handling the BP case right now. I mean, so we understand what a good investigation looks like. What your film Big Easy does is it weaves together great interviews. It's kind of that scientific gumshoe effort that you put forward. It's telling the story by people who were there. It's a moving story. And if you listen closely, it's a damn scary story.
Yep. Because
it's still there. It's happening with all of our agencies in this country, and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. And the other part of it, Harry, if you think about it, and this raises, your film raises this issue. You got a country like China is spending $600 billion on infrastructure in the next 10 years. You know what our budget is? How about zero? I mean, zero. Harry Shearer is the host of Les Show, and he blogs frequently at Huffington Post. His new film is called The Big Uneasy. You can find it online at thebiguneasy.com.